Eating your nuts?
I'm eating my nuts.
All right. You ready?
I'm still chewing. Hold on, let me
wait till
sweet
you
it down.
swallow. Yeah, let you swallow your nuts. There's nothing PG about this podcast.
No, I don't think I'm going to be able to put that 12-year-old on.
Not when you're eating your nuts.
No. All right.
All right. Hey, you're back with Damon and Steve from the Penny Stupid podcast. This week, we're going to be talking all about Damon's experience crushing it with Rideshare. I don't want to ruin the punchline, but you made like $4,000 last week on Rideshare and delivery. Is that right?
Way to bury the lead.
Yeah. Well, we want to keep people interested. That's for sure.
You go ahead and click off now. Yeah, made $4,000. You're out. Done.
That's it. And listen, if you want to hear more about Rideshare success and delivery and feedback and stuff, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the bell so you get all the notifications, and that way you can stay in touch with us as we release more podcasts. But Damon, so last week you had the golf thing going on and the Super Bowl.
Well, now you ruined my next line. I was going to set it up and say, stay tuned because I'm going to share the secret with you of how to make $4,000 a week driving for Lyft and Uber, and mainly Lyft, a little bit of Uber, some DoorDash sprinkled in there. And I was going to have everybody lean in, like, tell me the secret. Teach me your wise ways, Obi-Wan. And I was going to say,
have the Super Bowl in your town.
You're stealing my lines, bitch. Yes.
Okay. I'll just sit here.
My big tip of the day. Move to an area that has Super Bowl and the Phoenix Open all in the same weekend. And you too, my friend, can make $4,000 in a week pointing your car wherever the phone tells you to point it and just driving around the city. It was crazy busy.
And you were
crazy.
We were on the phone and you were like, it's a black ride. It's a black ride. It's a black ride. I mean, that's all you were doing there at one point. It was like
Lux
shooting
Black.
Fish.
Lux Black ride.
Shooting a fish in a barrel there.
And there wasn't even any water in the barrel. Sitting there. No, they just kept stacking. I left it on Lux Black only for pretty much the 4 or so days around Super Bowl. And it was just like bing, 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 bing. I had an $1,100 day.
Oh, I averaged. That's a record, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, my best day before that was $850. And that was New Year's, but that was like over a 24-hour period because I had, I started driving at like, I don't know, I can't remember exactly on New Year's, but it was like in the afternoon sometime, 3 or 4. And then I drove all night and then all day the next day till about 3 or 4 till I was like, oh my God, I got to go to bed. And I drove home. So I made $850. And people say, well, how do you do that? The app times out after 12 hours. Well, that's why you multi-app. You can kind of switch and have, Uber off to the side or Lyft off to the side, drive 6, 8, 10 hours on one of them. And then when they kick you off, drive. I drove so much on New Year's, I got kicked off of both of them. Both of them were like, you're done.
Well, I suppose the difference is that New Year's was more like maybe a younger crowd, whereas the golf tournament and Super Bowl were an older crowd that was expecting to pay a lot of money.
Yeah. But they also trucked in. I mean, they had so many black SUVs in town. I mean, they were bringing them in on trucks. They were bringing in drivers, bringing in cars to try to meet the demand. And it still was surging all over the valley. And, one of the things I learned, because this is the first time I've really driven where it's just been, I'm talking massive events. I mean, I've heard estimates anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million people came into Phoenix that week, around the Phoenix Open and the Super Bowl or both. We basically flew in the equivalent of many major cities that, so it's like we had a whole extra city come in. And not only that, but these are people that mostly didn't have cars and had places to go and people to see and needed rides. So it was 500,000 people that pretty much all needed rides. coming into the city.
Yeah, and
so
the difference is they couldn't get just like regular, Uber or Lyft rides. So they were willing to go up the scale and pay for a ride they could get.
Yeah, I mean, when you're at an event and it's crowded and you're sitting there and you're like, oh, yeah, you can get a Lyft. It's going to be an hour. But then you also see, hey, if you want to pay for a Lux Black ride, it's going to cost twice as much, but you'll get a ride in 5 minutes. Right? And you're sitting there and your girl's freezing and she's looking at you like, you son of a bitch, I can't believe you're doing this to me. And you're going to save $40 and have her stand there for an hour. And even here's the thing, just because you say, okay, I want that ride, and you're going to wait an hour or 45 minutes, that doesn't mean that driver's not going to cancel because they get a better ride or something like that.
Right.
That happens all the time. And, you could be there an hour, 2 hours waiting for a ride if there's 10,000 people all trying to get a ride from the same place at the same time. So yeah, you see, hey, it's more, but I'll be home, in 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
You pay it, right? You just want to get out of there. So yeah, it was a crazy week. I basically just took the week off from consulting for the most part and just drove. I wanted that experience. What is it like? And yeah, I made $4,000 driving a car for a couple of days. It was like, when I had that $1,100 day, because it built up, right? Like on Wednesday, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think it really started to get busy on Wednesday because, Phoenix Open was in town and that kicked things off on Wednesday. So people were coming in Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday was kind of okay. Wednesday, I feel like I made like five. Saturday was my biggest day. Yeah, I feel like I made like 500 on Wednesday and then like 600 on Thursday. No, I made 700 on Thursday. And then like 950 on Friday. And I was, so close to that 1,000.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, I blew past it, 1,100 on Saturday. And then Sunday was almost kind of a letdown. The day of the Super Bowl, I only made $600. But it was really funny because once the Super Bowl started, there was no rides. It was like a ghost town because everybody was at their spot, right? Like at the bar or at the game or wherever. And it was very few people wanting to leave in the middle of the game. So the second half, I'm just sitting in the parking lot and I'm screw this. I'm going to take a break. I left my phone on just in case. I went into Shake Shack, got me one of them smoke burgers. Those ones that.
Oh my gosh.
First time I ever went to Shake Shack. Yeah. Steve was the first person to introduce me to Shake Shack. Were we in Vegas?
Yeah.
Was that where we were? Was it like 10 years ago? It was like 10 years ago. And I had never eaten at a Shake Shack. And Steve's like, oh, you got to try this place. It's really good. And so it was called the Smokehouse Burger, right? That has those red peppers on it. And I don't even like spicy, so it's not that spicy, but it's got a little bit, just enough of a kick. It's really good. And so I sat down in Shake Shack. They had the game on. I'm watching, enjoyed my burger, got me a chocolate shake, Oreo shake, because why the hell not, right? So I'm sitting there, saw the last half, saw that BS holding call, even though I was rooting for the Chiefs anyway, so I wasn't like upset about it. But if I'm trying to be honest, that was a BS call at the end, but whatever. Either way, I would have been the same person, whether the Chiefs won or the Eagles won. Wouldn't have changed my life at all. I didn't have any bets on the game because betting's for suckers.
So the Chiefs won?
Apparently, he's a football fan.
I didn't watch it at all. So
clearly, you're probably packing boxes for Amazon. Yeah, the Chiefs won at the end. It was a good ending. But as soon as the last down came and went and the game was over, my phone's like, bing, black ride, let's go. Like, there's people like, let me get the hell out of this party. This party sucks. Game's over. But it's
did the surges start lighting up?
Oh, it's just the whole map just like lit up because all of a sudden everybody's like, get me home. Right.
And honestly, these surges were not tiny. They were, you were showing me pictures. It was like $25 surges. Yeah.
And it was all over the valley. And here's a little secret. I never once did a drop off at the Super Bowl at the stadium or pickup at the stadium by design. I did not want to. So one little trick for you. If you have a big event in your town, it'll attract the drivers to the event like a moth to the flame because you get the surges.
Yeah, hover.
Right? But the demand around those events still should pretty much stay the same or even get bigger depending on how big the event was. So if you got a $25 surge, but you got to fight your way into Super Bowl where there's 100,000 people there, It's massive traffic trying to get in there. It's a pain in the ass. Let me give you an example. I was, right after the game, I just dropped somebody off. I was out in Scottsdale, which is the other side of the valley. I got a $60 black ride immediately. A couple of guys coming home from a party. $60, took them like 10 miles. That left me about 15 miles from the stadium. Well, I was going to turn around and go back to Scottsdale because there was tons of parties, a lot of stuff over there. There was traffic over there, but not anywhere near the traffic right around the Super Bowl. So Lyft hits me with the ride. It just automatically added it. $85 to go to the stadium, grab somebody, and take them, 15 miles away or whatever it was. Now, normally,
you say no?
I'd be like, I said no. Normally, I would take that ride, but that's how. I made a plan, Steve, and this time I stuck to my plan. It was hard. I had 10 seconds of looking at this shoulder, like, do it. Like, no, fuck no, don't do it. Right? So I'm sitting there like my fingers on the button. Like, I mean, you got to have nuts of steel to say no to an $85 ride. I mean, but that shows you. Yeah, I rejected an $85 ride it was probably only 15 miles. And I said, no, I'm not doing it because I knew that would have taken me at least 2 hours. And then a lot of people say, that's still $40 an hour. Yeah, but you know what I did instead? I declined that, turned around, immediately got hit for a black ride. It just a few miles down the road, not in traffic at all. It was about 5 miles for $50. What do you want?
Yeah, it was worth it.
And that took me like 15 minutes. So I made $50 in 15 minutes. I wouldn't even, if I'd taken that $80 ride, I wouldn't even have had the rider in the car in 15 minutes. I wouldn't even have been there yet, right? So I made more than $80 in that time if I would have like just given into it's $80. So when there's big events, if it's a real big event and there's traffic, I always, when I'm talking to people and giving them advice and they're in my car or whatever, or I'm chatting with other drivers, here's the thing. You don't have to outsmart Uber and Lyft, right? You get a lot of these guys on YouTube and they're trying to figure out how to outsmart. You're not going to outsmart Uber and Lyft. They spend millions of dollars figuring this shit out. Their job is to get the cheapest rides possible, and they're going to do it. You're not going to outsmart them. But what you can do, and what's easy, unfortunately, you just have to outsmart the other drivers. That's all.
That's true.
And I love my fellow drivers. I feel like I'm a part of part of it now. I've been doing it for a couple of months, and I like it. I mean, there's some good drivers out there, some smart drivers, but it's not that easy. You also get the ones that are, Lyft sucks, Uber sucks, I can't make any money. It's the decisions that you're making most of the time. You got to make better, smarter decisions. Example, and if you watch this channel, you will be a smart driver.
Well, that's right. Like, subscribe, stay tuned, ring the bell. But it's like what you have told me before. You have been to the airport and you have watched the airport queue, and you have watched guys sitting there for an hour or more, when in fact
I did it last night.
Just hovering around the airport has been more successful for you.
Yeah, like
that's what you did last night.
The demand will go up on the outside of the event. You stay outside, you pick off the rides because it's just supply and demand, right? Econ 101.
Yeah.
If the drivers are all going over here, there's still demand over here. Even maybe the bonuses are only $10 over here and they're $20 over here, but over here you got to compete with 10 other cars. Over here you got to compete with one. You're going to get rides. I don't care how big the bonus is. You can sit on a bonus in a parking lot for an hour. You don't get the bonus. You got to get a ride.
Right.
So yeah, last night, because I didn't feel like I got kicked in the nuts enough yet at the airport, I decided to do it again. Just because it was the end of the night. I was already sitting on $500. I made my last drop off. Dude, the Lux rides at the airport, or the black rides were just crushing. I tried to go home when I had $300. And they just kept saying, no, here's $50. Take this person to the airport. I'm like, okay, fine, $50. I'll do it. I'll go 18. No, it was, and from Scottsdale, the airport's like 12 miles. I'm getting $50 to drive 12 miles. I'm like,
yeah, but that was not in traffic.
No, 75 miles an hour to the airport, $55. I get there. This is like midnight.
Get out.
I get
Get
there.
out.
Yeah, this is last night. Lyft is stacking a ride, so I drop them off, and I already immediately got a pickup, and I'm on Lux Black only, so these are all just black rides, high-end rides. Yeah. Get that couple in at the airport. I'm already there. take them 2 miles to their hotel. I got $30 for that. I got $30 to take them from the airport. I don't even think it was 2 miles. It was one of those hotels that's right on that perimeter of the airport, you know, where the shuttles will pick them up. And then as soon as I dropped them off, I got, boom, another Black Ride pickup at the airport, $55 for that. Drove 2 miles back, took her to Scottsdale. And at that point, I'm like, okay, now it's like 2 a.m. I'm done. I just made like $140 in an hour on those 3 trips. Just boom, boom, boom. That was an hour tops. $140. I'm like, okay, now I'm I'm a little over 400. I'm going to go charge. I'm going to go home. Start to go home. Boom. Another Black Ride about midnight. This one was like like the $20 one. It was 2 miles for $20. Took him, dropped him off. Now, okay, I really got to go home. I'm tired. I got another one. That was a close one too. Another $30. Now I'm up over $500, and this is on a Tuesday, right? And so I go to charge, finally get some charge, drive home. This is how tired I was. On my way home, I got pinged for another $45 Black Ride back to the airport, and I'm on the freeway, and I'm on full self-driving and falling asleep. I'm literally like, I got the cars driving me home because I'm like not in a good state. I'm like, I got to get home. And I see that, and I'm like, no $50 for me. I declined it. I just couldn't do it.
Well, another thing that you told me
we got to tell this.
What? No, first,
what's the other thing
another thing that you told me about was this influx of black Suburbans and lots of Lyft Black drivers to the area. I don't know how those guys were driving to the Super Bowl in a big gas guzzling Suburban, waiting for rides and making any money.
Well, a lot of those, with an event like the Super Bowl, a lot of those guys were doing high-end private rides. So a lot of those cars that came in weren't just doing like Uber. They were doing like, okay, $200 to take you over here, $300 to take you over, those kind of rides. Yeah. So those guys could make some pretty good money. But what I don't get, is the guys that I'm driving around with that are driving the Suburbans, driving the Escalades. Mm-hmm. I get the same high-end rides they get in my Tesla. Okay, I got a black-on-black Tesla. The only rides I can't get are the XL rides, so they'll get some of those. But for the most part, I'm making the same money these guys are making. These guys, and their cars cost, in the case of a Suburban, just as much as the Tesla. Suburbans can cost more than the Model Y. And an Escalade, forget about it. You're looking at 100 G's easy now if you're going to buy an Escalade. And our Platinum Escalade took premium gas. One of the reasons we sold it. Yeah. And my wife got 8.9 miles a gallon when she drove it because she idled it a lot. We're out here in Phoenix. So I'm sitting here in my Model Y. I sit there. The air conditioning's blowing on me. It uses so little electricity when I'm sitting there with the air on. I don't even count it. I mean, how much does that cost? I don't know. Not much. But when you're idling a 450 horsepower motor on premium gas, what do these guys do in the summertime? It's 110 degrees out. They're going to sit in a black-on-black Suburban with the engine off? I don't think so. They're going to be idling that sucker all day long. They're going to be averaging 8-9 miles a gallon. Premium gas, I don't know how they're making enough to make it worth it when you can buy a Tesla Model Y, get those same high-end rides, and your expense for the day is $15 versus
is that what it was for you to charge?
Well, it depends on if I get more of my charge. It's cheaper to get more of the charge at home. It depends on the time of year. It depends on how many miles I'm driving. But
let's take like the Super Bowl.
25.
So those guys were paying like what, $150 to fill up their Escalade?
Well, Phoenix is so spread out. I routinely drive 250, 300 miles. If I'm going to go drive, I'm driving that far. That's 3/4 of a tank on an Escalade, especially around town and you're idling. That's 3/4 of a tank easy. That's got to be $125 to $150 to do what, and then I pay right now $15 to fully charge up to go that far. And I'm making the same money.
Doesn't compare.
It makes no economic sense. Don't buy a Tahoe or a Suburban or an Escalade to do rideshare. If you've already got one, okay, but you're paying 25 to 30% of your earnings is going right back in. And we're not even talking about oil changes every month.
Brakes,
if you're driving as many miles as I'm driving. It doesn't add up when you can get, if you want to do the high-end rides, you can get a black-on-black Model Y. They dropped the prices recently. So, I mean, you could find a used one right now for 50 grand, right? A barely used one, or a new one is only 60 now. What does a new Suburban cost? More than 60?
I mean, the monthly payment on that is more than it's going to be on the Tesla.
Well, not only that,
right?
My monthly payment on my Tesla is about the same, or actually is probably, if you bought a Suburban and you drove as many miles as I drive around Phoenix trying to make money with rideshare, you would spend more money on gas than I spend on my Tesla payment.
That's true.
You can buy a Suburban and have a $1,000 payment, $1,200 payment, whatever it is, and then you can also throw $1,200 to $1,500 a month in the gas tank, or you can buy a Tesla and you have your same payment or similar payment, and then maybe $200 in go juice, I call it, because it's not fuel, but it's go juice. So and that savings is just money in your pocket. That's it. It's just money right in your pocket.
Well, before you sold your gas car, you were spending what, a couple thousand on gas each month? How much
we were spending $800 a month in gas before I did rideshare.
But after rideshare,
for personal use, we were spending $800 a month in gas. Here's the great thing about that Tesla. Once I started doing rideshare, we sold the Escalade a few months before we started this experiment because I was just kind of over it, and was, it had 180,000 miles on it. We drove the crap out of it for like 7-8 years. I don't know. And it was time to sell it before things started breaking. It was a great car. I loved it. Had 5 TVs in it that nobody ever watched. Not once. I mean, all my kids have their iPads. I got these 5 TVs in the thing and nobody ever watches them. I'm like, why do we have these freaking TVs? So got rid of that. But yeah, when I borrowed Kathy's XTS, she has a Cadillac XTS. And when we first started, I borrowed that car. Now that car didn't even qualify for black because it was older than 4 years. It's a 2014. Right. So I could do Lux, but not black. But even with that was not a gas guzzler. That took regular gas, didn't have to put premium in like the Escalade. Yeah.
It's like and even 20 with miles that, a gallon or something?
When I drive it, it gets up to 25 miles a gallon. When Kathy drives it, it's under 20 miles a gallon. But, what was your point? Oh, so that first 2 weeks I did rideshare with Kathy's car, I spent $600 in gas just doing the rideshare. And in my head, I'm like, that's $1,200 a month. Granted, remember, I grossed $6,500 that month, right?
Yeah. So
it's still worth it. I was still making money, but I'm sitting here going $1,200 a month. That's a Tesla payment,
right?
And so I just said, look, I could pay Chevron Corporation $1,200,
right?
Or I can spend $1,200 on a Tesla, and now I have an extra car because we needed an extra car anyway because Kathy was tired of driving my Ram Dually diesel truck whenever I borrowed her car for rideshare. So it wasn't really working out to only have the 2 cars. So so this experiment, do rideshare and get a free Tesla. There you go.
Worked out.
I mean, the rideshare pays for the Tesla. It pays for it. How do we get out of this? This was supposed to be a Super Bowl update.
Hey, you got to share the our Brainiac story of the day yesterday. The two of us.
Oh, we're so
couldn't
stupid.
Figure it out.
So stupid. So last night, it was Tuesday night, right? Just Tuesday night. I wasn't planning on driving at all because I just drove my ass off for Super Bowl. And I'm like, I'm taking this week off. I got my clients. I got to get back to work, right? And all of a sudden I got an Amazon fresh route for Whole Foods.
Yeah, those things are great.
And I'm trying to test Whole Foods. And I've only ever been able to get one of them. And all of a sudden it was raining. So one popped up last minute and then another one popped up. I was able to grab 2 yesterday. I didn't really want to drive, but I'm wanting to test Whole Foods for anybody that watches our videos because I think Whole Foods is becoming like the best deal so far. I mean, if you can't drive high-end Lyft or Uber, as far as earnings per hour, so far, it's Amazon Flex, but technically Flex is package delivery, but Amazon Fresh, which is the same app, it's all together, but it's Whole Foods grocery delivery from Whole Foods.
Yeah.
So far, the one I did, I made $45 an hour in 2 hours. I made $90-something for 2 hours. So I've been wanting to test that again, but these routes are so coveted that the higher end drivers, the drivers that have the higher levels that have paid their dues, they always seem to grab them, and I never see these routes, so I don't get a chance to test them again. But a couple popped up yesterday because I think it's because it was raining. So I just grabbed them. I didn't even look to see I just saw Scottsdale Whole Foods. And I'm like, yeah, give me that. And then I figured out, yeah. So then I was down in Scottsdale anyway. I did those 2 deliveries. They went great. One of them only took me an hour. The other one took me an hour and like 20 minutes. And they're supposed to pay, they were smaller routes. One of them was 3 deliveries. It's just like 3. I got it done in an hour. It's so easy. They're supposed to pay $33 a base and up to $20-something for tips. And I haven't seen what the tips are yet, but should be around $50-$55 each for those 2 routes. That's $110 for 2 hours and 10 minutes, maybe $220, right?
Well, so here's the first idiot moment, right? When you told me, yeah, 2 of my stops were like delivering flowers.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's easy. Just dropped off a bouquet of flowers, right? Yeah. So I'm already down in Scottsdale, and then I'm like, oh, I also want to test Walmart Spark for you guys. I haven't done a Walmart Spark delivery yet. I'm signed up. I'm already down here. Why drive home? It's just a regular Tuesday. Lyft's going to be slow. Let's do Walmart. So I did the Walmart delivery. I'll have a review of first impressions on that separately. So I did that, and then I'm like, well, okay, maybe let's do some DoorDash. You know, I get a $15 a ride to do a hamburger, like 10 miles. Not that great, but I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday afternoon. I'll do it. So I get the hamburger, and I turned Lyft on Lux Black only, and I had it on. I was just, I call it trolling for bonuses. I do that with Uber and Lyft when I'm driving other apps. I'll leave it on the highest end so I control and pick up some bonuses. As you're driving around the valley, you might run through a $15 bonus, and then when you get done with the one app you're doing, you look over and you go, oh, I'm sitting on a $15 bonus. Let's cash that in. So I get pegged I just get the hamburger and boom, Lux Black ride. And I'm like, whoa, oh, damn it. Because my rule is if I go on a food delivery, if I get a better ride, I will cancel the food delivery.
But now you got the burger and ham.
Food. Once you get the burger, you have to eat it. And I don't mean eat the burger. I mean eat the ride. Like you're pot committed at that point. You can't screw with somebody's food. You got the food, you got to go deliver it. Like once you go in that restaurant, you get that food. It's like whatever happens, you're committed to that. So I'm back in the car and I'm like, damn it. I just missed a Lux Black ride. That sucks. It was like a $30 ride I missed for this $15 hamburger to go 15 miles. And this is 6 p.m. This is traffic city. This is going to take me a while. It ended up taking me 45 minutes to deliver this
for that hamburger
for $15. But right after I said, damn it, I missed that, 2 minutes later, I get another Lux Black ride. And I'm just like,
is that when we were talking on the phone and they were just like,
no,
they were just like coming?
Not yet. No.
Oh.
No, this was like, what? So I just turned Lyft off because I knew I couldn't take the ride. And it was just a source of aggravation knowing that I missed this money. Right. Yeah. So I was like, I got to turn this off. So at least I won't know what I missed. I have to get my,
I get it.
So I dropped off the burger, but what it did tell me though, is it said something's going on. I got to get this burger out of my damn car and get back to Scottsdale and turn on Lux Black because maybe there's a holdover from Super Bowl. There's some event.
Yeah, something's going on. Yeah.
So I dropped the burger. I race back there. I turn it on. Boom. Lux Black ride. Right. And I picked them up. Real nice couple. Actually, ASU. I didn't even make it to Scottsdale. This was at an ASU campus. Nice young couple.
Is this the one where I said, hey, next time you pick somebody up?
Nope. Not there yet. This I'm telling you, Black was going off. It was a bing, bing, bing. So this is right after I dropped the burger. I was down in Tempe, hit ASU, 0.7 miles. And they're all dressed up real nice, going out to a restaurant. And I was like, I'm glad it's raining, because otherwise they probably would have just walked. It was 0.7 miles away. And I got paid $30 to take them 0.7 miles. And I was like,
sweet.
Okay. And I was like, yeah, I guess it's too far to walk in the rain. They're like, yeah, super nice. Drop them off. And then I'm starting to leave. Boom. Another Lux Black ride down in Tempe. Take them. Then I start going towards Scottsdale. Boom. Another Lux Black ride. And that's when I called you, right? And I called you. And I'm like, dude.
Something's going on.
Lux Black is crazy. I don't know if nobody left from the Super Bowl or what, but it's not a normal Tuesday.
What could it be? I don't know. I can't.
You're going to bed and you're like, is there an event or something? I'm like, I don't know. And you go, well, why don't you ask the next rider? Maybe they have an idea what the event is. Okay.
What's going on?
Next couple dressed up real nice. They get in the car and I'm talking and they're like, so has your night been real busy? And I'm like, Surprisingly, yeah. It's Tuesday afternoon. I don't get it. Is there something going on? And the girl goes, Valentine's Day? I was like, fuck.
I mean, you're delivering burgers.
I'm delivering Walmart Spark and burgers instead of doing luxury black rides in Old Town Scottsdale on Valentine's Day because I am clearly an idiot. Remember what I said about, sometimes drivers aren't the smartest bunch? That includes me. But I knew it was Valentine's. I said happy Valentine's to my wife earlier. We weren't going to go out that night because my wife, we've been married 19 years and I have a benefit, the luxury of having a very practical wife at this point where she says, why don't we just go out on Thursday when that's not crowded? And I'm like, loving you. Let's do that.
All right.
So I knew it was Valentine's in my head, but never once throughout the day. I think it's because when I booked those Amazon routes last second, I thought it was Monday in my head and the route was on Tuesday. And then all of a sudden I realized, oh shit, it's today. I showered and rushed out the door and then just everything. Remember, I wasn't planning on driving yesterday. That was not on my radar to drive at all. And it just never clicked in my head that,
both of us, we're on the phone. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, we hung up. Steve didn't know. So he was going to bed because he's in East Coast, 2 hours ahead of me. So after that ride, I'm like feeling like I knew he was going to sleep. I called him anyway, woke his ass up. I'm like, and he answers his phone. Yes, because like, why? I'm going to bed. And I'm like, do you know how stupid both of us Neanderthals are here? He's like, what? I'm like, you know what's going on tonight and why the black rides are so busy? No, what? Valentine's Day, bro. Yeah, I mean, that should have been a night like I had on my calendar. Like, this is the night I'm going to go drive high-end rides. Like, I just accidentally fell into Valentine's Day, and I made $500 last night. Yeah, I should get a calendar or something. Like, I'm glad I got those Amazon Whole Foods orders because it accidentally brought me to Scottsdale, which accidentally let me make $500 last night.
For Valentine's Day.
I'm so stupid I made $500 by accident. That's how easy it is.
Hey, let's wrap this up, and we're going to do another podcast this week, but we're going to talk about...
we're wrapping it up? I thought we were going to just do like 24-hour live stream. Just keep talking all day. That's what it's feeling like.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'll punch out. You keep going. I'll be back tomorrow.
Well, what would be different on this one? That's pretty much what it was. You could, you know what? Record yourself going like this. Hey, you're not looking.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Go, like what?
Yeah, record yourself doing, like do a loop of that for like a minute and then just loop it. Wind me up. Yeah, that's basically it. You could have lunch, come back and then, do the intro and then put it on loop and go. How do I get one of those?
Oh, this is a birthday present. You can get custom made bobbleheads. Yay!
Hey, you know what? When we get to 500 subscribers, we could do merch and we can make bobbleheads and sell them out.
That's right.
Who wants a Damon and Steve bobblehead? Put in the comments if you'd buy a Damon and Steve bobblehead. We're famous in our own minds.
All right. So our next podcast is going to be an Amazon FBA update about your experience and my experience. And we're going to talk about those letters that we forgot to talk about last time. But
we've got that. But I've got a crap ton of footage from, driving from Super Bowl. I've got some more footage. I know we kind of teased it in one of the videos, but the Tesla got me a speeding ticket, the full self-driving Tesla.
The best one has to be the video that we just released about being careful when you're voice texting.
If you haven't seen that, go watch that video.
Oh my God.
No problem. Ow!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Woo! oh crap, I'm so sorry. This guy just cut me off and I almost crashed. I swear that was not directed at you. I've got the guy on dash cam.
Sure.
So my day's going well. How about yours? Now keep in mind, this is coming off like, I think I was like on a 10-hour shift, and it's right at the end. I was mopping up my trolling strategy, right? Where I go and grab my Uber bonuses. And this was like a McDonald's run to grab my $25 bonus that I had.
Yeah. I'd like a large drink with ice.
And I said, no problem, fucking asshole. But you got to see the video, because I wasn't saying that to the customer. I was voice texting, and you see in the video at the dash cam, I hit the button because I'm driving. I'm not texting. I just hit the button, and she said, I'd like a large drink with ice. And I said, no problem. But before I hit send, some bastard just whips up and cuts me off, like just boom, right in front of me. And I'm like doing this, and I go, fucking asshole. Like that, and then just again, I'm a little sleep deprived, not even thinking about it. Then I just subconsciously, because I was in the motion, I just, like it jarred me, and then I'm like, and then I send, and then I'm like, okay, and I look up, and you can see my eyes, and I look, my phone's here on my windshield, and you can see, I look back, I look, and then my eyes, and all I see on my phone is the text that says, no problem, fucking asshole. And then I'm like, how am I going to fix this? I'm like, not that it's going to affect my life, but Uber is going to fire my ass on this one.
I can see the customer on the other side. I got good news and bad news. He's getting the drink.
Oh. I mean,
but he's a little pissed.
This is a text message through the Uber app. I'm saying no problem, fucking asshole. But you got to watch the video, because that's clearly not what I did. But how do you plausibly? I mean, that's just like nobody in their right mind is gonna realize what happened. They're gonna think I said it and I just accidentally sent it to them.
Yeah,
like nobody's gonna believe. And so I'm apologizing profusely to the customer, and I'm like, I swear I have it on dash cam. When I dropped off the McDonald's order, I texted him. I included one of our cards for the Penny Stupid channel. I'm like, I'm going to put the video on YouTube.
You can see
it. Please watch it. Yeah, please watch it so you know, because it was really upsetting me that this customer thinks I just said, no problem, fucking asshole, for them asking for a large drink. I'm like, I swear, it's going to be on YouTube. You're going to see it was just bad timing all around. And that was officially the last delivery of the day. I went home after that.
All right, problem. Let's end with that, because that's priceless. So go watch the video. It's on the YouTube channel. You will see it. We'll be back next time. Damon, I should do this. See you later.
No problem, fucking asshole. I'm going to have to leave you a lot of edits in this one.
Oh, no, I'm not editing it.
Oh, you're not editing this one? Well, you edited the last one. Why would you edit the last one and not this one?
I didn't edit the last one.
The video we did, it beeped when I said, no problem, effing asshole.
Oh, well, that took effort.